is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
All right, welcome back. Another episode, Ain't No Seats podcast. And AB, I think it's time. We've kind of put it off a little bit. I guess we had a recruit on last week, but you weren't on. But I think it's time. Big 12 Media Day. I think it's time to just talk Kansas football because there's buzz. There's buzz generating, and I love buzz. And Big 12 Media, the uniforms, Jalon Daniel, lot's been going on here recently. So I figured summer episode, let's give the old football Jayhawks the attention they deserve, and let's start getting excited for the upcoming season. So we got some topics we're going to roll through today. We're going to talk Jalon Daniels. We're going to talk uniforms. We're going to talk KSU fans. They had some opinions today, and nothing gets AB more fired up than a good old rant about Kansas State fans. So I guess let's jump into it. Where I want to probably start is, now this doesn't sound amazing, but KU was picked 9th in the Big 12.
Hang the banners.
And that's a big deal because that hasn't been done in 13 years. How much, is that genuinely exciting to you? Are you I know you're not, but are you like a preseason things don't matter guy? I don't know. Talk me through it.
They don't mean everything, but they mean something, Ryan. I mean, like 18, whenever we fired Les Miles, really, like we would have never even thought that it was possible for a KU team to be not ranked dead last before the season, to have guys leading the first team all conference. Like it's pretty insane, the turnaround. But I mean, it's still 9th out of 14 teams this year. Is that right? But yeah. And that goes back to 12 next year. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's 13 years is almost half of our lives, like quite literally.
Yeah.
And we just got used to it. So maybe it doesn't seem like that long and nothing really new happened. It felt like same cycle. New coach, get excited, still suck. New coach, get excited, still suck. And it just all meshed together to one. And now it's like kind of out of it now. And hopefully this year is more building upon that than losing the momentum we had from last year.
Yeah. I mean, I've gone kind of back and forth because I think after the season last year, I kind of sat there and we returned a lot, but I was like, man, I feel like expectations are going to be really unfair for this team next year because the program's the conference is going to be tough. And like, it's really hard to win 6-7 football games, especially when you've gone through what we've gone through. That was kind of my take, was let's temper expectations. Let's calm down. I think I'm starting to, and I know we are scarred. We have been through trauma with this program and getting our hopes up. So I think I try really hard to prevent myself from doing that. But just the Big 12 Media Day, just seeing those guys that are there. Kenny Logan's back. Jalon Daniels is back. We'll talk more about Jalon Daniels. Rich Miller can't be really, really good. Like, and when I say really, Devin Neal, obviously he was the last one. But like, we return so much. And I think I hate myself, or I will hate myself if I go into this season with the take of like, don't get too excited. Like, I think we should get excited. I think we should get very excited. Lance Leipold is sick. He's awesome. We have Devin Neal. We have Jalon Daniels. We have Kenny Logan back. Like, I'm talking myself, and I don't know what that looks like, but I've decided I'm not going into the year with like, let's temper expectations. I'm going in with like, we return a shit ton of people. We have maybe one of the best coaches in the league conference, and there's no reason we can't for sure go win a bowl game and can't for sure go win, not for sure, but go win 7-8 games. I don't know. There's my rant. 6, 7, 8 games. I know it's not crazy expectations, but it's almost a rant to myself. Are you in a similar boat, or are you still in like, let's temper expectations mode?
No, I'm tired of tampering expectations. We've been doing that forever, and I just want to be excited about the college football team I root for. I don't really care what the haters have to say about it, what the fans of other teams have to say. This is semi-new to us. I just want to like enjoy the ride, because let's not get it twisted. Like, even if Lance builds KU up to a level that we haven't seen consistently before, at least you and I, even if he does that, how confident are you that the next guy that we have to hire comes in and keeps it at that level? Like, it's not a non-zero chance that we don't just fall right back down to the cellar and we look back at this 3, 4, 5 year span as the best time of our lives as KU football fans. So I don't want to like tamper that down at all. I just want to like honestly live in the moment and enjoy the ride that it's going to be, because it's not going to be here forever.
In a way, that was like more negative than tempering expectations.
Well,
Maybe. My God, that was dark.
I guess, but I'm trying to be realistic with it, Ryan. Like, we've seen too many examples of no matter who the guy is.
You're doing what we don't want to do.
No, I'm not, because
what if Lance...
deep down, what is your like deep down for KU football? This is going to be a bad clip. I'm not even going to say it. But this is like, we're in a good spot with KU football right now. And I'm not saying we're going to go back to winning 1 or 2 games a year, but we may not get another guy like Lance to come in and do it. I'm not going to say what I was going to say, Nick. It's just bad news for me, and I'll say it later.
Boring. But no, yeah, I mean, I think I totally see what you're saying. I'm mainly just messing around. Mm-hmm. I think Lance can get us to the point where it would take a really bad hire and just some incompetence by the athletic department, assuming Lance doesn't leave like after this year, right? We need more momentum. Oh, kicked my camera. But we need more momentum than that. But if we make a bad hire, yes, we could go back down to the 1 and 2 years. But I do think Lance, I expect over these next 3-4 years, will build a good enough foundation to where we could have a 10-year run of success. And I don't know what that looks like, but I just mean not being embarrassing, not being a complete disaster every Saturday. And so I don't know. I'm confident in that, but I agree with you. We should live this up. This is fun. It's fun to care about Big 12 Media Day. It's really fun, and this is a good segue, to have the Big 12 preseason Offensive Player of the Year. Like, that's crazy. And I think people were mad about it. I mean,
Ryan,
go ahead.
You have takes? It kind of, yeah, because it looks weird, and Devin Neal and Jalon Dane, they're awesome. Like, they're incredible. But you're looking down the Big 12 depth charts, like, the people that they're arguing should have been Big 12 Player of the Year are guys like Will Howard and guys like other dudes like this that, I mean, come on, they're nice college players, but it's not like Bijan Robinson is at Texas anymore, or Caleb Williams is at Oklahoma. Like, come on, we're not talking about like super stud talents until, I guess not until, because Arch Manning's not going to play Big 12 football, but like the bar to get there, like if Will Howard's your argument to be Offensive Player of the Year in the Big 12, what are we even arguing about? Like, he's a nice player, but he didn't get robbed of anything. It's not like this superstar that no one's talking about. He's a fine quarterback that has a great team around him.
Yeah. I mean, I know we remember it well because it was like a thrilling 5 weeks, but Jalon Daniels, those first 5 weeks of the season pre-injury, he was outrageously good. Like, that dude did whatever he wanted on the football field. If he wanted to keep it and run for 20 yards, he did. If he wanted to sling it deep, he did. He was so good. He looked like a pro quarterback. And then we also forget he then showed up to the bowl game, struggles a little bit early, and then shatters like every bowl game passing record or something like that. I can't remember what it all was. Maybe it was the Liberty Bowl specifically. I can't even remember. But he put up just outrageous numbers in that game, led one of the greatest comebacks in KU football history in that game. Like, he's just awesome. He just is. And I get that people have a hard time, kind of like when we say we have a hard time getting our hopes up. I think people have a hard time seeing a Kansas player and taking them serious. But like Jalon Daniels, I don't know that there's many people I would look around the league and say I'd rather have than him at any position. I mean, that's probably absurd because I haven't done a whole lot of digging, but like Jalon Daniels is pretty sick. And it's just crazy that Lance has got us to this point where it's July and we're ranting about how excited we are about football, and it's like legitimate. We return 17 out of 22 starters, I believe, which I think is like the most in the country. Am I accurate on that? Nick, if you have any confirmation in the chat, throw me some. But it's something like that. Like, we return a whole lot. And I don't know. I can't decide what I truly expect out of the season, but I'm talking myself into more success than I probably was thinking like 2 months ago.
Yeah, Nick said that 10 starters on offense coming back from last year and lost the tackle, brought in one of the top tackles in the country in the transfer portal. So yeah, I do have a question about Jalon winning preseason player of the year. Yeah. If he actually wins the award come early December, late November, whenever they come out with it, where does that put him Heisman wise? Because last year when he was balling out, he was top 5 or 6 in the Heisman odds.
Yeah, I mean, he was.
But Cole asked this question when that came out last week. Where does that put him like top 5 in the Heisman at least? I mean, Max Duggan won it last year. Obviously, TCU went to the national championship and everything, so probably a little different. But he was 3rd in the Heisman, 4th in the Heisman. He was definitely there.
I mean, it kind of also says like, what does KU need to do as a program for Jalon to win that award? Like, if they only win 6 games, 7 games on the season, is that good enough for him to win that award, even if he's putting up absurd numbers?
I mean, probably not at 6-6. What was Louisville when Lamar won it? I want to say they were like 8-4, weren't they? I'm trying to look that up, but I don't know. I mean, they're probably not giving it to a team that goes 6-6 and playing in the Cheez-It Bowl or whatever it is.
But if
I will
say
8-4 and top 5 in the Big 12, and he's that electric.
KU football being 8-4 and having the best player in the country on offense or best player in the league on offense is going to generate that's going to be a major storyline, just as it was the first 5 weeks. We were one of the bigger storylines in college football. So if you expand that over a full season, you're 8-4 and Jalon's doing what he was doing the first 5 games last year, then I think 8 wins would get him at least to, or maybe not to the ceremony, but definitely in the conversation up until the final week. But just so tough because the SEC, I mean, you're just going to have guys that they're 12-0, they're 11-1, and they're killing it. So, and they're always going to be there. It's just tough. You got to win games to be considered for the Heisman. But all right, we got to take a quick break. But really, I guess we're not taking a break. We just got to talk about home field. We're back working with Home Field Apparel, which is just elite news. It's great to hear. You love to see it. We've worn their stuff before. I mentioned last pod we wanted circus font. We've been begging Adidas, which probably shouldn't be talking about other brands on this, but we've been begging them to bring back circus font for uniforms. They won't do it. They did it for an alternate, but Home Field was just like, all right, here you go. We're giving you circus font. They gave us the hoodie. They gave us the t-shirt. They kill it. They've got the, let's see. They've got over 150 plus colleges to choose from, obviously, including your favorite teams. They really dig into the history. I'm trying to read this bullet point thing, and it's just not a great way to describe Home Field, because the best way to talk about Home Field is to talk about AB, we were talking before. Their social media game's incredible. Their marketing is incredible. Is there anyone that even comes close to Home Field?
No, and it's the retro stuff they bring out, it truly makes me go look at other schools' apparel. And I'm not really that kind of guy. If I'm buying stuff, it's KU, Chiefs, Royals, whatever. I peek around at some other schools. It's just cool stuff. It's different stuff that you don't see all the time.
Dude.
And yeah, I was so pumped when they sent us that package last year and got to open up some brand new shirts. It was like Christmas morning, to be honest. We had no idea what we were getting, but we knew it was going to be good.
Yeah, Nick perfectly said it. I almost bought Youngstown State gear. That's what Home Field will do for you, is you're strongly considering going all in on Youngstown State. I don't even know what their mascot is, but I guarantee it's fire.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is their gear is actually legit. It's comfortable. It's good. My fiance loves it. It's great. It's perfect for men, women, kids, adults, everybody. So go give them a look. Visit Home Field website, homefieldapparel.com. And like we said, more colleges than just KU. If you're a non-KU fan listening, if you have family that's not a KU fan, go fill them in about home field or buy them a nice little gift that's home field. So shout out home field. We're pumped to be partnering with them again. But let's get back to the Hawks.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network. Entertain, educate, inform. KC Sports Network.
All right. I didn't realize we were going to break. We did. I'm a true pro here. But so the other thing I want, we talked about Jalon. We're excited about that. But I also want to talk about, which this is also partly Jalon, the new uniforms. And now there was some funny things that came out about that. If you see it on Jalon Daniels, you see it on Devin Neal, you see it on Kenny Logan, you're like, these are the greatest football uniforms of all time. And before we get into all the details about the uniforms, did you see the picture of the random guy on the KU website as like the model, the marketing guy wearing the KU football uniform?
No, I don't think I did.
It was so funny. I wish we could add the picture. I mean, just took that uniform from looking like one of the coolest uniforms out there to looking like the worst uniform of all time. It was simply just modeling. And no offense to that guy, but he was not built to be wearing that football jersey.
I'm sure he's a great dude, but
my favorite part about the jersey is we needed a switch like this. We needed to just kind of get away. That was, you could argue for 10 years, the only exciting thing about KU football was getting to see which jerseys we threw out each weekend. And sometimes they were absolute fire. Sometimes they were kind of weird, but it was just almost annoying to be wearing something different every single week. It felt like, and now it just feels like we're a real program wearing real uniforms and feels way more, I don't know, legit. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's been 10 years since the whole like uniform takeover. Because I remember it was like right before I went off to KU and like Ben Heaney and all these guys are wearing them. And I don't even think we saw half of them. There was a black one I don't think we ever saw. But yeah, no, I agree 100%. And I have the same take in the NBA, like the playoffs. You got the Miami Heat wearing like blue and orange. And it's like, what are we doing here? Like just you have your colors, wear your jerseys. 1 or 2 times a year, switch them up. Sure, I'm all for it. But I can't tell you, you kind of got to it a little bit earlier. There was nothing worse than trying to get any service on our phones at a tailgate just to see what jerseys they were wearing. Because it comes out like an hour and a half or 2 hours before.
Yeah.
And you're screwed at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and your point about the NBA, which I just have to get this take off. One of the biggest travesties in sports history is that LeBron completing Game 7 win over Golden State. He was wearing sleeves. They wore T-shirts in the Game 7 of the NBA Finals. The Cleveland Cavaliers, who I think have pretty solid uniforms. They're cool color combo. They wore black T-shirts in one of the biggest games in NBA history. It drives me crazy. You always got to be traditional. Like you said, alternates are fun. I think KU basketball does a really good job of wearing alternates for certain fun games. But when it's time for business, KU basketball is wearing what they're meant to be wearing. They're wearing the traditionals, and that's important to me. So KU football now having that traditional look is I'm a big fan of it. They looked good. Now, I don't even know if I want to get that into this.
Come on,
but. Did you see the K-State people being like, you guys put stripes on your sleeves. You're copying us.
Yep.
Like K-State invented stripes.
Shoulder stripes. Yep. It's invented in Manhattan, Kansas, 311 years ago, before it was even settled as a town. But yeah, it's
is funny because that's how long they've been wearing those uniforms.
Yeah. And speaking of copying, they took the Dallas Cowboys jerseys and just made them theirs. So I don't want to hear it from them. Yeah, that was insane. I've been trying to do my best to avoid Twitter lately because it's just if there's nothing going on. No, I haven't done Threads. I don't want to get looped into that. If Twitter actually falls through, I'll go to Threads, but I don't. It came at a bad time. If Threads came out on Selection Sunday, I'd be on Threads. But it's like, what am I gonna? I don't even need Twitter to look through stuff now. It's nothing Twitter's done wrong to me. I just don't really care about like being up to date on anything at this point in the calendar year. So I just kind of forget about it.
Here's the thing about Threads. I got all excited about Threads because I was really bored one night, the night it came out. But it gave me big energy of like, when you're on a bachelor party and everybody shows up and you just start, you go way too hard the first day. You drink 25 beers on day one. You're having a blast. You're so excited to be there. And then the next morning you get ready to go to breakfast and everyone's just miserable. And nobody has fun day 2, day 3. That's what I felt like happened with Threads. We all showed up on Threads, myself included. And I was like, I'm just going to fire away Threads. I don't even care. I'm just going to fire out jokes. I'm going to recycle old jokes. I tweeted out the double teamed video that I did like 5 years ago. And by day 2, I was like, all right, I'm out on Threads.
What do they call that on Threads? Like on Twitter, I sent a tweet. Did you send a thread? Is it that simple?
Which is weird, I think.
Yeah, but so I heard this too. Tweets, like that sounds really stupid too. We've just been doing it for 15 years. Like the first time we saw tweets, it was, what are we talking about? Is it a bird? Literally.
Think about we say, did you see that TikTok? We just say that like it's normal. Hey, did you see that TikTok I sent you? All right. Well, now it's social media pod here.
That's fine.
Where were we? Where were
Jersey is copying.
Yeah. And then the other thing, so sticking on the area of Jalon Daniels being really cool, today he showed up to media day in what I felt was a power move. He wears, he looks great, but he's wearing a chain that has highlights of him last year looping. Like, that's awesome. And I loved it. But back to the K-State fans, I saw them tweeting, or I saw one specific tweet that they all loved that was like, this is so corny. And listen, I can handle corny jokes. I love to call things corny, but there's no program, there's no NBA team, there's no NFL team, there's nothing that is more corny than the Kansas State Wildcats. So for me to see that being slung out there on the old Twitter timeline was outrageous. What'd you think of the necklace by Jalon and thoughts on K-State fans calling anything corny?
The necklace was good. The chain, it was great. Their kids let him have fun. He just got a big accomplishment. The K-State part, the corniness, you said it. Let's list some examples, Ryan. We know we love them. When they hire their football team's motto is win the dang day. That's not corny at all. And then when they get their basketball coach, it's win the tang day. And he's the corniest motherfucker of all time. Apparently, KU and K-State basketball programs have been close, or they were close from 1920 to 1960 or whatever he said that one time. When we looked back, it wasn't whatsoever close at all. The other thing, we've talked about decade of dominance DVDs for so long. That's the corniest thing anyone's ever seen. Like, there's just so many examples of them trying to hold this high ground on people and be on this pedestal that they've never earned. Like, what? I guess they're defending Big 12 champs. Cool. We said it last year. That is their peak. They cannot do better than that as a football program. So enjoy it. Live it up. They're in the same boat as we are. They're on an awesome run right now. They're living it out. They know it's never going to get better. It might get a little bit worse. Who knows? So yeah, if they want to live it up, that's fine. But don't bring the corny stuff into it. When all you guys do is pull corny moves.
You forgot the low hanging fruit, which has been overplayed. But like Eco Cat, was that what it was called? Where they introduced the Wildcat that was like eco-friendly or something. God,
no.
I really thought you would remember that.
Well, just their mascot in general is corny as hell. It's a person with a
I'm a strong advocate of getting poor Willie a body. It's a shame that program, that athletic department doesn't have the funds available to get their mascot a full body.
Can we talk about that for a sec?
Sure.
I can't remember if we talked about it on here or not, but KU revenue-wise, few spots higher than K-State this year for athletics, and that was always a big thing they like to bring up. So, as we know, the goalposts will keep on moving until they have nothing left to do. But that's why I want to beat them so bad. Like, if they're getting this triggered about stripes on shoulders and preseason awards, Boy, oh boy, can you imagine the evening on Twitter or at the party after when you're with fans of both sides, just all the ammo you'll have in that moment and you've been saving up for 15 years. That's just going to be a beautiful day and no one's going to be able to tell us anything for a full year. And it's going to happen at some point. We never know when. I'm done with the prediction game. This year feels like a good year to do it. I don't know if it will happen, but again, when it happens, it's going to be a top tier day.
This year it does feel like it's gonna happen.
Ryan.
We're not gonna get into that yet, but
I'm just telling you.
One other thing that I sneaky love about, just on the topic of corniness, I find it absolutely hilarious. And this is like all jokes aside, this could be anybody, but you know how like every school kind of has that song that they love, and I'm not talking about Sandstorm for them, but like, I don't know, KU, if you think back to their old intro videos, it was this cool instrumental that KU fans love, or like Dream On, I don't know, like that classic song that they'll play at late night and stuff. I don't know why I find this so funny, and you may not even be aware of this, but the Kansas State fan base is absolutely obsessed with the song Stand Up for the Champions.
Oh, yeah.
And I find that song
stand up for the champion.
Like, that's just not a song that gets me, like, fired up.
No, it's FIFA World Cup music, it feels like, coming in and out of breaks.
It just is very funny to me, but whatever. I get it. If it was KU, I'd probably find a way to be like, oh, I love that song. But I don't know. I just thought those two instances were very funny. Them thinking Jalen Daniels chain today, which was like just very cool, very cool. Them calling it corny, and then them inventing stripes. Just an entertaining week. So let's see. What else do I got from Big 12 Media Day? Oh, man, not a whole lot.
You want to talk golf for like an hour?
I'd love to, but not sure we'd keep everyone tuned in unless I'd still would love to launch a YouTube channel where we just play golf, and it's called Ain't No Shanks.
Dude,
thoughts?
I'm telling you, man, I'd be so down, because I know that would just improve my golf game, and I'm at the point where anything. Let's take a break and get back into this, because I've got a little bit of a rant that I want to get on and talk to you about face to face.
That's going to keep people coming back. Hey, we're going to talk golf when we return.
It's the middle of the summer. Everyone loves the golf.
All right, we'll be back.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network. Entertain, educate, inform. KC Sports Network.
I will say this about the golf idea. Can you imagine how fun it'd be to just go like do a YouTube video of us playing golf against Mitch and Chris Tehan, or us versus Gurley, gambling 500 a hole.
Gurley and Bill versus me and you. Who says no?
Yeah, Bill, easy. I'm sure if we just hit up Bill right now, he'd be down to go play quick 9. What's he got on his schedule? Nothing. Yeah, so that'll be fine.
It'll be an afternoon walk. Okay, so I like I was saying, I just want to do anything that makes me a better golfer, because I've been getting the itch big time this year, unlike any other time in my life, really. And I got really frustrated, and I almost just gave up on this dream last weekend. I played 4 times last week, and I comfortably broke 100, which for me, you're gonna laugh because you can do that in like 2 rounds total. But like I shot like a 95. I was feeling all right, feeling decent. Like things that I'd worked on were like showing improvement, more consistent contact, like solid contact. And then I played 2 days later, and it was like I had never played the sport in my life, and it really, really upset me. So I don't know if that's like just get used to it, because that's going to keep happening. But yeah, I don't know.
That's golf, dude. It's so it's very frustrating. 2 weeks ago, I had back-to-back days. I shot 72, 74. And I'm like, I get home and I'm like, oh my God, I figured it out. I have cracked the code. I felt this. I made this little adjustment to my swing. I'm like, I figured it out. I'm a good golfer. Maybe I'll pursue a pro career. I was like locked in. I was like, I'm going to practice. I'm going to buy new wedges. I'm going to get good at golf. I'm going to try. I went out 2 days later, shot like 83.
Mm.
Like, it just, you leave that course. It doesn't matter what you found in that time. It's going to change. You're going to come back. There's going to be something else slightly wrong with your swing. The key is, though, like you said, you got to be consistent. You got to play a lot. If you don't play a lot, you're never going to get good. And that doesn't mean go rip 1,000 balls off the driving range. That's what a lot of people think practicing is, which I mean, I don't. But I don't know. I'm not good at practicing either, but I do play a lot. But it's the best. And tell me this, AB, just to bring this back to KU football. Would you rather KU beats K-State this year, or I tell you that by next summer you are consistently shooting below 85 for like the whole summer?
Does it expire at the end of the summer? Do I carry that on the rest of my life and remember everything about it?
It's up to you. You have the momentum going, but you still have to practice and keep yourself at that level. But
I'm not taking
your fingers.
No.
You get there yourself.
I'll continue to house beers in my, on the course and have fun and try and make some changes to be competent. I don't need to be shooting 82. I just need to be shooting like 89. If I can get to a point where I'm breaking 90 somewhat consistently, sure. KU beating K-State, man. I mean, we just talked about that. That would be. I just called it when the night it happens is going to be a top tier night. I don't think shooting 84 at Heritage is like a top tier afternoon. Like, it's cool, but it's not memorable, I guess.
So what about a hole in one? What if I told you get a hole in one?
No, because
I'm
not really
still on the pursuit of a hole in one.
Right. You might take that because like you go up to every par 3 and that's what you're shooting for. For me, it's like I just want to put it on the green. I just want to get the ball in the air. But yeah. Wouldn't that be something if I knocked one in before you did?
That would be tough.
But would you actually be annoyed though? Like if we were golfing together, would you be excited a little bit, but like inside, would you be like, dude, fuck this, man. This guy sucks. I just saw him shank 3 in a row into the woods, and now he's got a hole in one before I did.
Dude, I once saw a guy win a BMW after sculling a 6-iron that went 2 feet off the ground and rolled the entire way down like the fairway, rolled into the hole for a hole in one, and he won a BMW. And I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. So hole-in-ones are just fun, especially if you witness one. I've only witnessed one of them, but they are very fun to be a part of. So, no, you're an absolute hater if you're, like, sour at all if somebody in your group gets a hole-in-one. Now, who knows? If it lost me a bunch of money or something, maybe. But, I don't know.
Another question about do you fear hitting your first hole-in-one by yourself?
A lot, yes. We're actually, our course right now is a renovation going on where their normal tee box on a par 3 has been pushed up like 70 yards. So it's now a 90-yard par 3. So it went from like a 185-yard par 3 to a 90-yard par 3. And the other day I was playing by myself and I hit just like a little wedge, just a little flick of the wrist wedge, and almost spun it back into the hole. And I was like, that would have sucked. 1, I would have been alone. 2, it would have been on a fake hole.
Like I was going to say, how much does that count in your book if it's a 90-yard under renovation hole compared to a 147-yard par 3 over the water?
U.S. Open had an 80-yard par 3.
True. Very true.
But I don't know.
If you're in one, you're in one. But it's more like how do you personally feel about it? I'd be pumped regardless, but we're on a different level.
Yeah, I mean, I'd still be pumped. It's cool to hold. I've holed out a few times, and that's always a thrill. Yeah, it's not a hole in one, but it's.
I bet you hole out from 75, 80 yards like once a summer, probably no.
No, I holed out from 125 a few summers ago. I actually holed out for birdie. I hit my second ball off a tree and then hit a punch shot from the trees. That rolled up the green, hold out from like 140. So that was cool for birdie, which was annoying. No, I would not say I hole out from 80 yards every year. That's tough. Holing out is very hard to do. Oh, yeah. And I'm not that good. Easy. I'm not hitting darts to 4 feet.
No, but you're consistent enough to like get it within 20 feet most of the time. And if you're within 20 feet, you got to think with as much as you play, like,
Yeah. You would think.
You're gonna find some luck.
Think I could get a hole in one too.
One last question on the old golf. What would you try and fix first if there's nothing like really solid in your game, but nothing like truly awful either?
Oh, probably short game.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like you can hit the ball and you're not playing courses that are super tight. Like you can let it fly off the tee, and if you're missing fairways, you're probably going to be okay. You can get the ball up to the green in a few shots. The issue is, I bet you 3-putt a lot. I bet you chunk chips. I bet you add strokes around the green.
That's the biggest thing. I'm not really chunking chips. I'm more doing the thing where it's going 2 yards forward, but 25 yards to my right. It's hitting the shaft part, whatever that's called.
Oh, that's a shank, I believe. Are you shanking it?
Yeah, on some chips, yeah, I am, and it gets really frustrating because there are sometimes I'll just fucking put it within like 5 feet and I'll feel good, and it's like feels really. I'm also pulling most of mine when I do hit them solid, or how I want to. But yeah, I
also think short game's just something you have so much. That to me, you have so much control. Like, there's no reason anybody out there can't go consistently 2-putt holes. Like, it's crazy when I watch people, and I mean 3-putting happens, but like the people that 3-putt 10 times around, it's like you just cut that in half. You're saving yourself 5 strokes. Like, come on, folks. Like, let's 2-putt some balls.
I tried your claw a couple times. I just couldn't figure it out to be like. There were times it felt okay, and I definitely felt more in control, but it felt too unnatural to continue doing. But I will say, when I went back to the normal, I felt like I had way more control just by like changing from going that to the other to back to the original. And I felt like
I switch putting grips like every month. It's just because the second you go back to the old one, you think you found something, and then you'll get sick of that one. You'll go back to the other one. You just got to keep repeating until you get good at one of them for real. So, all right. Well, wow. We really did just talk golf for 10 minutes. I'm sure people are either going to absolutely like that or despise it. But either way, it's July. And
ain't no shanks, baby.
Ain't no shanks, except for AB, who sounds like he's shanking some chips.
That's why we start the series, man. We got to get rid of them.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. Rock chalk.